Lesson 1, Unit Organization. For this module, we'll be looking at Unit Collaborative 1.3. Before we begin digging into the nuts and bolts of the unit, we're going to have to define some terms that you can find within the teacher instructions. If you look at a phase, you will notice that there are learning steps. However, if a learning step is meant to be repeated again and again, then you'll see that instead of as a learning step, as a recycled activity. Next, you have scaffolded learning lessons and proficiency level learning lessons. A scaffolded learning lesson is a lesson that has one set of directions for students at all proficiency levels, and the individualized support is found within the support section listed below the student directions. If it is a proficiency level lesson, as this next lesson is, you'll notice that the directions are specific to student groups of each proficiency level. Emerging having one set, expanding another, and bridging yet another. There's still additional support. However, within proficiency level lessons, each grouping of students has a slightly different task. In addition to different styles of lesson, you'll see what scaffolded support. You'll see the engagement expectation. Is this individual? Is it a whole class? Or is it a small group lesson? This will help you within Schoology decide whether or not you need to assign it as a large discussion or keep it as an individual assignment, or even try and involve students in a shared group assignment. And then finally, you can see the engagement length. This can vary anywhere from 5 minutes all the way up to what a traditional class period might be. Now that we've seen what a unit looks like on the teacher instruction side and defined terms there, let's look at what some of those assignments that we previewed might look like on the student side. We looked at step 1. Here you can see there are materials. Sometimes scaffolded support sometimes scaffolded support requires different materials to be provided for different groups of students. As you can see here, there are 3 different types of video analysis: emerging, expanding, and bridging. You can also see that even though this is one assignment, it has 2 components to it, 2 different types of discussion. Since this is something that if it were done in person would be more like a think, pair, share. Going back, let's look at our step 2. Remember, this was a recycled activity, meaning it was done more than once. And you can see this is done as an assessment, which means students will be able to take this and retake it. But it also has an attached study guide that students can work through in order to fully understand the assessment. Now that we've looked through 2 steps in both the teacher and student sides, take a few minutes to explore just some of these general steps to get an idea of how things might be organized on the teacher side as well as on the student